into another Red Out podcast. My name is Devin. Tonight we're going to be talking about some other sports, updating everybody on what the other sports around the hill are doing. We'll also be talking about Western's game against Michigan State and the big conference games we're going to be going into this week. Sorry about that. And we'll be talking a little bit spooky stuff since we're getting into Halloween.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Jersey all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
There you go, guys. Hope you all are enjoying your week. Been a little hectic for me. I've got Abby tonight. I had some fun stuff with my father, who's been in the hospital all week, probably next week too. Abby says hi.
Hello.
Hey, Jared. How's it going, buddy?
No, that's good.
See if we can get new Jake in. Let me see if we can get new Jake in. Like I said in the intro, we'll be talking Western sports. We're going to talk about some sports that's been going on around the hill. Volleyball's probably dominating as always. I mean, I think it's just one of those that I just need to start going, yeah, they won.
Yeah, that's a good thing for sure.
And she's talking a lot better, a lot more than probably our listeners are used to. So
She'll be taking over your podcast in a couple of years. I can feel it.
Hey, that's okay. That's when she gets older, I'll gladly hand over the reins.
Hopefully she'll inherit all of your sports knowledge.
A useless sports knowledge, yeah.
You got to tell her all your crazy stories of being...
hey, she's got to go make her own. She's going to have to go make her own stories.
Yeah, well, that will inspire her to get her own stories, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. As long as she goes to Western, we're fine.
Yeah.
I do have to look up one score. I did not. I guess winners and losers real quick. So, Jared, who did you cheer for with Brady coming back?
God, that was so dumb. I wish both of them could have lost or just ended a tie. It would have been more appropriate. But I don't even know. I mean, I love the city of Tampa Bay. It's a very nice vacation spot.
Yeah,
it's a good city.
Bad.
I like Tampa Bay as a city. It's just the fact that Tom Brady is there that I cannot support them anymore. So normally it would have been Tampa Bay had Tom Brady not been on the team. But with him being on the team, I don't care.
I kind of found myself cheering for New England slightly. You know,
I could never do such a thing.
Well, it's
that's like you cheering for like the Bears or something.
Yeah, you're right. But like the reason I say that though is because like Brady has become like the LeBron of the NFL. Not as bad. But he just basically took a team to the Super Bowl and just
Speaking of our Tom Brady analyst, we have Jacob on now.
Yes. Yeah, rumor is that Jacob broke into Tom Brady's house and tried to steal his pimp juice.
Maybe.
He's not denying it, so.
Can you say anything, Jacob?
Wait, am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
First of all, that's only half true. It was his sperm I was trying to steal. I was trying to create the perfect baby.
There you go.
Understandable.
So, Jacob, who were you cheering for? Tampa Bay versus the New England Patriots?
Man, I was cheering for my Patriots, man. I'll tell you, I appreciate everything Tom Brady's done there, but I've been a Patriots fan since day one, and I'm sticking to it. Brady, you're the GOAT. You're great. I love you. But, man, I love the Pats. That's all I got to say about that.
I got to say, it was really funny to me to listen to the fans, the New England fans, talking about Tom Brady. Like, it was like he was a ex, that's cheating on him and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's hilarious. That's really funny.
Oh, it would have been way worse if Gronk was there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. It just feels like Gronk just adds a whole nother layer to things.
Very true.
But anyway, Jared, I'll let you go through your winners and losers real quick.
Losers is basically every professional sports team I care about because not only are the Dolphins horrible right now, but also the Pacers are back and they're basically as injured as they were when the season ended. So that's about standard for them. We'll see how long it takes before. Well, I just want one game. It happened maybe 2 games out of the 81 regular season games last year where the Pacers were fully healthy. I just want one game where everyone is able to play. But if that will happen, probably not. But and also they renamed their stadium. It's no longer Bankers Life Fieldhouse. It's Gainbridge or something like that. And it's really weird, and I'm not used to it.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That is weird.
Some of the names for the stadiums are like so random to me,
Yeah.
and it's just like, where did that come from? I get their sponsors or whatever, and it's just like, could you have not found a better sponsor than,
Pouchins
Ben Gay
Industries.
or something? You'd be like, wait, or Tampax. If Tampax sponsored a stadium, I would be
Oh
really
my
concerned.
god.
Hey, if Tampax did it, I would think that was really funny. But
They offered enough money, they'd have to take it.
It's like that just
so hold on,
just-
Jared. Jared, would you be okay if Tampax approached Western and said, "We're going to sponsor your stadium"?
If they gave us enough money to get out of Conference USA, I would.
It'd be the LT Smith Tampax Stadium.
hey man.
Be like, I don't
At least
know
we'd
about
finally
this.
make Sports Center again.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Finally,
Yeah. Jeez. Okay, Jake, do you have any winners and losers?
I'll tell you the winner I got. Winner, the people of the video game industry, people who love video games. And I'll tell you why I say that. The past 3 weeks, the new Halo Infinite beta came up. It came live. First week, it was pretty exclusive. Only a few people got to play it. I got lucky enough to get an invite to that one. Second week, if you had Xbox, free for everybody. It was first weekend for PC. They got to play Halo Infinite. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be the next big game right there. The gaming, people who love gaming, people who want a game, you need to be looking forward to Halo Infinite. And I'll also tell you, I got to play a little bit of Battlefield, the Battlefield beta, the next Battlefield game coming out. I'll tell you, it's a bright age for gaming with these next gen consoles, and the PCs are always getting better. It's a bright spot. These games are looking good, man. So I say the winner is anybody who games. Man, if you game, you're gonna love these games coming up because these games are the next big thing. 100%. Battlefield and Halo, calling it right now.
As an adult, it is hard for me to find a time to game with a child. So honestly, like, I've been stuck with a Switch, and that's fine. I like the Switch.
Switch is great. I've been playing. I'm playing Switch lately too. I play a little. Everybody loves Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
Announce that new character. Every time they announce a new character, I go ahead and just drop it like $3 it costs to get them, and go ahead and just play them just to see what it's like. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean, of course, it's just some of the most random things you pick up. But yeah, the Switch is definitely mine because it's just the portability and the ability to pick it up, set it down. Oh, you want Daddy to do this? Okay, I'll go do that. Hey, you need me to do this? Yada yada yada.
There's an ungodly amount of money that I would pay to go back in time and play Halo 3 for the first time. Like overnight with the Halo 3 Mountain Dew and everything, bag of Doritos.
Yep,
just live that all over again.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Codes. They had the little multiplayer codes for extra XP.
Yes.
Yep.
See, that reminds me of when cousin Jake and I used to play Grand Theft Auto back in the day. And we had like the notebooks written with all the codes in them for all the different things. And hey, you can get a tank if you do this one. And it's like, left, right, up, down, and you're just like, oh my gosh, those were the days. Getting your sugar rush on and eating God knows what kind of junk and staying up all night playing video games.
Amen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was going to say my winner or loser is definitely Tom Brady this week. I mean, it's funny to me to watch Belichick, and he's just like, ugh. But
it's the monster he created.
Yeah, I mean, So how much longer does Brady have in the league? Does he make it to, what is it? What did he say his goal was? Like 42, 44?
He'll still be playing 10 years from now.
He said his
True.
goal was 45, and he's 44 right now. Yeah,
Well-
he'll be playing 10 years in the future, probably.
Oh, yeah. If
With a
he,
robot arm.
I think if he could make it to like 48, it would be a miracle. I mean,
I don't think anyone would ever get close to that record either.
No, God, no. I mean, there's too many injuries.
Still in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I get scared because when he was running for that in that pivotal fourth quarter, he was running for a first down on 3rd and like 6, and I was like, he might get injured here because it took him like I had like a whole time, enough time to process and like think of a whole thought, like because he was still running by the time I was done thinking.
He-
Man's old.
First, Tom's never been quick though. He's never been like the fastest quarterback out there. He is a pocket quarterback, and if he's got to run, you're like, he's definitely going to do the slide.
Yeah.
He's going to slide whenever he gets to wherever he needs to. Right before he gets hit, he's going to slide. And
That game, though.
yeah, well, as a fan, if I'm cheering for the Patriots or whoever, I'm definitely going to be like, slide. Oh, you should have slid sooner.
Yeah.
But
It was like watching Brandon Doughty run. Same kind of energy. I'm just like,
Yes.
God, what are you doing, bro?
definitely. So other sports around the hill. Let's see what we got here. I pulled up the calendar, and it is never the best thing for me.
Hey, real
Um,
quick, I gotta go into the other room and grab headphones real quick. I will be right back.
You're good, Jake. October 2nd, women's soccer played Rice. That was last Saturday. We played 16 or 17 Michigan State. We'll talk about that in a minute. Women's volleyball swept FIU. Cross country did the Louisville Classic. Women's volleyball they beat FIU again on the 1st. And men's golf was down at UAB. I do not see the results of that. But anyway, number 20 WKU volleyball headed to EKU for first time since 1995.
Interesting.
Kind of have a feeling of how that's going to end out. I don't want to build up our volleyball too much, but they're pretty good. Number 20, that's amazing to me. Looks like Zapp got voted Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week. 488 yards against the Spartans. That is wild.
I'm
Yes.
glad this type of offense is finally back, but of course it would also be the same year where we don't have a very good defense, so it's in vain.
Well, I mean, they'll develop. I mean,
I hope so. They couldn't do any worse, to be honest.
I really wish that we had Clayton back. I really do.
Mm.
And I hate to be like that, but Clayton had the experience. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
So I guess let's go ahead and start talking Sparties. Western played Michigan State last week at East Lansing, not West or North or South Lansing. According to this, there was attendance of 70,000 people there.
Yeah, it was pretty wild from what I saw.
That's pretty good. It says it's about 93% of the stadium. And we had 560 total yards, and they had 519.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
If you can turn your mic up a little bit, that would probably help, Jacob.
Is it better now?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit
I
better.
think I just
Yeah.
need to lean it closer to me.
There you
set
go.
up
There you
at I'm set up at my dad's house right now. He's out of town. I'm house sitting for him. The cat was in here. I was gonna ask if the cat was meowing in the microphone. He does.
It's all fine.
You probably didn't hear my daughter yelling earlier, so it's fine.
All sorts of background noise. We're good.
Yeah, my wife just got home and took her, so it's fine. Western had a turnover, which you hate to see that because Michigan State had no turnovers. Time of possession was pretty even at 29 minutes for us and 30 and a half minutes for them. We had more first downs than they did. So that just tells me that they just took advantage of us.
Yeah.
They got what they needed to get. Either we dropped the ball short and they just capitalized on our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see penalties. That was our big thing against India.
There was some penalties like false starts when we would try to no huddle, and of course, just some others miscues like that. But it was just hard enough for me to find the daggum game on TV because it said FS1 on the ESPN app, which is completely wrong. And then it was technically the Big Ten network, which there's like 5 different channels for the Big Ten network, and that it was weird. I went to Mr. B's and hung out, and I was eating. It was great, and like I was asking if they were going to change it over there, and they said that they don't get it. They do get a Big Ten network, but the game that they was showing was like Nebraska's game, and she said she knew someone else that had the same channel in Bowling Green, but they had it at their personal house. They had the Western game on that same channel. I'm just like, how does that even happen? So I went across the street over to Double Dogs instead, and they had it, thankfully. So they had this little outside patio area, and I was just hanging out there and just watching it there. I mean, thankfully I didn't miss a whole lot, but I mean, it was just a hot mess. It reminds me of when we had those games on like Conference USA Network, the online streaming platform for it. That was horrible, but I mean, at least I could actually find it. But I mean, I did find it, thankfully, and it was pretty crowded at Double Dogs. But
Jared, you remind me of the South Park episode where the kids were trying to watch the commercial, the Terrence and Phillips commercial, and they're running all over town trying to find it. That's what it sounds like when you're talking about this.
The Russell Crowe Show.
Yes, but anyway,
fighting around the world.
Yes, we need to, Jared. Gonna definitely have to get you some Hulu, bud. Because no joke, when I've got, and I'm not, God, wish we were sponsored by Hulu, but anyway, I've got the Hulu Live cable whatever package, and like I had the Big Ten Network very easily on mine. Well, I didn't get to finish the game, but
I don't know if you saw this, but I'm sure you remember that commercial. It's the Hulu commercial with Damian Lillard, where it's like the rap he makes up or whatever. The Hulu has live sports, and he tweeted out since that happened. It's like last month saying, "Yo, anybody have a link to the game tonight to like watch it?" I'm just like, are you telling me you were in a Hulu commercial and they didn't even hook you up? I mean, that's messed up. If that's true.
He wanted the NFL Sunday ticket, is what he tweeted about.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, yeah. But I did have the Big Ten Network though. I did find it, and I've got the game recorded. I just got to finish it. Didn't have a lot of time today, so
understandable.
Yeah, yes. With my parents out of commission on the injured reserve, and or at least Dad is, and with the mom watching after him, taking after him, and me. Literally, we had to go to the grocery today with the kid, and it's probably the first time I've flown solo with her, and it was wild. I will say it was a lot of snacks. We give her veggie straws as we go through the stores to keep her calm and not bored. And she's like, but it was. I digress. Anyway, Western had 560 total yards against the Sparties. We actually had 2 of 4 fourth down efficiencies, which they didn't have, so guess that could be a positive. And let's see, we just threw the ball through everywhere. 46 of 65 passing, 7.5 yards per pass, 0 interceptions, which, by the way, that's a moral victory in my part for Zap. That looks positive going into into these conference games. If he's not throwing interceptions against the number 17 team in the nation, then that's a win in my book, at least on that part. Of course, the penalties are always going to kill you. Western never gets. Yeah, that's 75 yards right there that could have been make or break. And of course, they had 60 yards worth of penalties, but still. And they had, about 200 yards rushing and about 300 yards passing. So they just came and took care of business, kind of like I thought they would.
I will say that I predicted the final score to be 45-31, and I was only 1 field goal off of that. I'm really proud of myself.
Yes, yes, you definitely should have bet the under.
I know.
Of course, they were supposed to. The line was 10.5, and they beat us by 17. So definitely take the over on that one.
67 though. That's the
I wish I had seen that. I would have bet the over. I've been
Yeah.
betting the over in a lot of Hilltopper games lately, and it's been hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good little money maker to throw in you got like a 2-team lock parlay. I'm always like, okay, well I know what my third lock is. Make it a little 3-leg parlay. Is the Hilltoppers over? And I swear I'm pretty sure I can check real quick, but I'm 3-0 on hitting the over for the season. Because I know in the very first game against UT Martin I hit it, and then against Army I'm pretty sure I hit it as well, and then I hit it on Michigan State too. Yeah, over under was 52 in the Army WKU game, and I bet the over on that. So yeah, 3-0. I stayed away from the Indiana WKU game. I just put it up WKU money line, which hurt my soul. But
Yeah.
we don't have to talk about that 2 weeks ago. It's that's like 3 years ago in real time.
Basically.
Yeah. In real life, it's like 3 years. I guess the big positive thing to take away from it is that Michigan State only kicked 2 field goals in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, we outscored them in the second half. It was just in the first quarter they absolutely torched us. In just the first half, I think they had 42 points, which we can't allow that. It's so bad.
No,
Well, the first quarter and the second quarter they had the 42.
Mm-hmm.
21,
And we had 3 field goals and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Which, by the way,
you can't win Mayo just kicking field goals in a big arena like that.
well, it looks like Braden kicked a 37-yard, 29-yard, and a 35-yard field goal.
I mean, he did fine.
Yeah, but you got to have those scores, and I mean that's good for him on his kicks. But as a team, we've got to, if we'd have got those 3 scores in the first half, you're looking at what 28-42, and then you got 2 touchdowns in the second. So that actually puts us at 28-42. Well, that'd be 42. So we still lost by 6, but still
closer game though.
a lot closer game. Jared, what did you think of the game? Did you see a lot of it? Did you find it?
I actually watched all of it except the fourth quarter because it was getting late and I had to drive back to Franklin. And it was basically over at that point anyways. But, I mean, especially just the first half. I mean, we have to do better on defense. I mean, you can't win any single game giving up 42 points in just one half. I mean, that's just not going to happen. And they did a good job getting back into it, and they did a better job in the second half. But, I mean, they got to be able to come out and play a full 60 minutes or else it could be a long season. And that's just something that Western struggled with, is getting themselves buried into these holes, like 14-0 holes that they have to dig themselves out of. They don't get to have any wiggle room. They basically have to go straight into comeback mode by the start of the third quarter, which, I mean, you have to not get yourself in that position if you want to try to win. But, I mean, of course, looking at Conference USA, I think we have a lot better shot. I mean, obviously the competition level is a lot different than a nationally ranked Big Ten school. But just the fact that we were able to hang like 560 yards on a team as good as them, I think that's definitely the biggest thing to take away. And it gives you some hope moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. The first score in the first quarter was an 88-yard punt return, which makes me kind of look at the special teams going, come on, guys.
And it wasn't just I mean, I don't want to say it looked easy, but he went untouched after he made the first one cut.
Oh my gosh, that's that makes it even more depressing.
Speed kills.
Yeah, Jacob, what did you think?
I got to tune in after the first quarter because my friend, we had the same problem Jared was having. We couldn't find the game. And so we had to, I literally went to because my friend was having a watch party because he figured it was just going to be on FS1, right? But yeah, so we
exactly.
ended up relocating to 3 different houses, with 12 different people and all of us WKU alumni. And so we're just over at our friend's house who's a U of L fan, and we're all just rowdy as heck while he's sad from earlier in the day because Wake Forest barely beat U of L. And we're just I turn on the game, it's 21-3, and I'm just what even happened? And of course it cuts to the very end. The good drive ends in a little touchdown. But I thought that if our defense had played like they did in the second half, the whole game, that was a winnable football game. But I saw the highlights of the first quarter, and I was just man, we cannot continue to come out of games. And I don't know what we're going to do when we get into this conference schedule and next week, we cannot continue to open up our games lackadaisical. Because I feel like the Hilltoppers so far this season, we've opened our games, opened them up, and just haven't really been all there. Like we get down, we always give up the touchdown like the first drive. We always give up points on the first drive. I just feel like because even against UT Martin, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking here. Let me look on ESPN real quick since I have it up. Even against them, like they scored the first touchdown of the game. And yeah, I'm right. We just look like when we went down 14-0 to Army, and then against Indiana, let's see what we did against Indiana. Yeah, we were down 14-0 to Indiana. We were down 14-0 to Michigan State, right? Yeah, 14-0 to Michigan State. That's 3 games in a row where we've came out and went down 14-0 and then came back and made it a game in the end. We can't continue to do this. We have to come out and the defense has to be a 4-quarter defense instead of a 3rd and 4th quarter defense. And I appreciate that they played better in the second half. But at the same time, it's like, guys, like if we want to be a team that wins a bowl game this year, we're going to have to put together a 4-quarter performance at some point. Like, and not even at some point, multiple times throughout this Conference USA stretch. That's what I felt. I just
Preach.
I just saw it's the same old song. Like we're always giving up points before we put up points. We need to stop them. If we need to put up the points, we need to be comfortable in the lead. Like,
Definitely. And I mean, we've got a big threat coming at us this week. With UTSA, they're 5-0 right now.
Oh yeah.
So, and their wins are not, these aren't Division II teams or anybody to kind of thumb your nose at that. Hey, they won.
Memphis.
Yeah, they beat Illinois, which Illinois is not great. Don't get me wrong, they're not great. They are division. They're Power 5. They're more like an Arkansas. That's kind of how I think of Illinois. They're not always good, but they'll have good years.
Mm-hmm.
They've beat LAM, which is Lamar Cardinals. I think that's Division II. MTSU, they beat them, which that's not really surprising. They beat Memphis by 3, and they beat UNLV. Just trying to scan through and see if some of these other teams, how they're doing. UNLV is not doing the hottest, though. They're 0-5 right now.
They're basketball.
Yeah. Well, they probably still haven't recovered since they got
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
smacked real hard with the death penalty from
MTSU played Charlotte close and then beat Marshall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not like they're doing terrible. I mean,
I think Marshall had like 6 turnovers that game.
Good. Let's hope they do it against Hilltoppers.
I hope so.
Exactly. Yeah, Middle's actually they're 2-3 right now. Who have they played? Trying to see. Middle is a rivalry that I just wish would do better. Oh, they played Monmouth, the Monmouth Hawks.
The Mothman.
Nice.
Yes, the Monmouth Mothman. By the way, I would totally buy that hoodie. The Monmouth
Same.
Mothman. We need to start our own little Etsy shop and just make up fake names for schools.
Sign me up.
Yes.
We'll be the next home field apparel.
Yes. Of course, they played. Looks like MTSU's played Virginia Tech, UTSA, Charlotte, and Marshall. They beat Marshall 34-28.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Marshall cannot talk about us. Sorry, I hear a click. I have no idea what that's coming from. But anyway, it's kind of like the telltale heart in my room right now. But they play. Do what?
As an English major, I get that reference.
Thank you.
Yes.
They've got MTSU's got Liberty this week. They play them on Saturday. Then they got Connecticut. We don't face them till the 6th of November. But the Roadrunners could be a decent team. They are actually Western is actually favored in the matchup according to the ESPN's FPI, which is pretty interesting to me. I didn't think we'd be favored.
It's because they're paying attention to how good our offense is.
So the story I've always heard, if you look at the money line, we are at a 3.5, and usually they give you 3 points for home field advantage.
Mm-hmm. I was about to bring that up. I was gonna say I trust Vegas over everything with that home field advantage. We're 0.5 favorites, so I'd say Vegas. They got us money line minus 170. Vegas thinks we're gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, Western definitely could win. There's not. I think we've had harder games than the Roadrunners have.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. I mean, the Illinois game, yeah, that's kind of like our Indiana game, and we should have won that.
Yeah.
Army is definitely a team to beat this year. They're tough.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't think that is crazy. The only thing that really troubles me is looking at our team stats on ESPN here. Of course, Western's got 39 points per game, 35 allowed. Total yards 520, yards allowed 459. Like at that point, like it's like, hey, just take the defense off the field. We got
Just let Zappy
400
play defense at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys. 459 yards allowed. But, Michigan State's pushed that number. Indiana pushed that number. Army pushed that number. But, yeah, that's so depressing to me. I just... anyway, looks like UTSA's quarterback Harris has thrown for about 1,100 yards, 6 TDs, 2 interceptions. McCormick... I'm assuming it's McCormick. Let me see. Running back Sincere McCormick. He is a junior running back for the UTSA Roadrunners. 132 carries, 541 yards, 6 TDs. We got Whittington. He's our guy for 21 carries, 111 yards. All right, who's this Franklin kid? Zachary Franklin. I'm sure I butchered that.
Probably.
29 receptions. Yeah, it's par for the course. 397 yards, 4 TDs. As long as Zap's back there, I'm confident. I'm okay with it. Jared? What are you thinking of our chances this week?
So, of course, I did a Q&A with another team. That's UTSA Rivals People, birdsup.com. Javi, and they also have a guy named Jared as well. They've been some of the first OG people we ever reached out to with the towel rag back in 2016. So they're some of like the original people I got to know when I first started a Twitter account, and they're super awesome people. And I got to learn a lot from them. I didn't really know super much about like UTSA, like where they stand, kind of like how if they were really supposed to be this good. I mean, they definitely are really good. I wouldn't consider them a paper tiger, but at the same time, I think that our team is going to be so hungry to get a win and to show who they are in conference play that I think that they're going to be ready for this game. They're looking forward to it. I don't know what the ticket count is for Saturday. I hope it's really well. It'd be good to have another big game like the Indiana game and have that fan support because I know they're going to need it because this is going to be a close game, I feel like. I don't think that they could blow us out. I don't think we'll blow them out either. I think it's going to be pretty neck and neck. And I mean, the defense is going to be critical. If they can get a takeaway or if they can make a few big stops and get them off the field and put our offense back on the field, I think that's what could ultimately be the deciding factor for this game. But I think it's going to be really close. It's not going to be like that horrible. I think it was either them or UTEP we played at the end of the Sanford era, and there was like 8,000 people at the home game, and that was basically what got him fired. I think it was UTEP.
I don't even think it was 8,000. I thought it was like 800.
I mean, it basically
for the senior night. It was rough.
800.
Let's see.
I think it was UTEP, but I don't know. They're basically the same as UTSA. No offense to any runner people listening to this. It's just through the fact they're both UT schools and they're orange and navy. I can't differentiate them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but UTSA's their Roadrunners, bro.
Yeah, honestly, like in my mind, I was like, oh, the Miners. But anyway, speaking of, I forgot to mention, Kentucky beats Florida. I forgot all about that.
I was watching that happen too at Double Dogs. That was pretty crazy.
Somebody was telling me they had a like what was it, a $250,000 fine for the people running on the field?
Wow. Yeah, the basketball team will pay for that. It's fine.
Yeah, they usually do. So the game in 2018 against UTEP Miners, there were 6,221 people there.
Jeez.
Nice.
Yeah, that's 2018, so that's pre-COVID numbers. So,
Texas high schools probably see more than that.
Oh, they definitely do.
gosh, yes.
That's how you knew that it was time to move on. When you don't have
Yeah,
more than 7,000 fans on senior night, that is so sad.
the bad thing is like when we played Ball State that year, we beat Ball State. Like, how did they do that year? Is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because that was one of those you're just like, we got to do pretty good. We beat Ball State, Maine was just a hiccup, Don't even worry about that. And then it was just,
Oh, man.
ugh.
I'm just
Oh,
going
the
to be
rest of
old
the year,
school and blame the Maine on Spain. Just do that.
the Maine and Spain.
Some old school history for you.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to help the guys out if we get actual attendance and people staying past the third quarter and helping these dudes out, because the noise is, the 12th man's real. When the crowd's into things and going crazy, then the players get into it and the sirens go and everything's up.
And the fireworks that always scare me every touchdown we get.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, 3.5 is a good score, I think, as far as everything's concerned. And I think Western's got a very good chance to beat the Roadrunners. This could be their. It would technically be an upset since they're 5-0, but I think Western can definitely push it on and take and beat them. Let's see. I'm trying to see who we got next after the Roadrunners. We got ODU. Let's see. How have they been this year? Not very good. ODU's 1-4, and we have the FPI's got us at an 80% chance to beat them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I just want to get back in the win column and go from there.
Amen.
Yeah, that's kind of why I looked ahead to ODU, because I was like, wonder who they've played. They played Wake. They played Hampton
probably.
Pirates.
Hampton
Pirates. They played Liberty, Buffalo, and UTEP.
And Liberty's really good, by the way.
Yeah, Liberty.
They beat UAB.
Malik Willis, right? That's their quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got they play Marshall this week at 2:00. So,
Liberty?
it would tickle me to no end if Marshall just had like the worst year.
I would love that.
I know, right?
Wait,
actually, Marshall.
Which one of them plays?
Old Dominion plays Marshall this week.
Oh, okay.
But Marshall's kind of got the same problem we have. They've got a 91% chance to beat ODU this week. Marshall is averaging 540 yards total, and they are allowing 400 yards.
So what you're saying is we can see another 67-66 game this year.
It looks that way. They beat Navy 49-7. Good gosh,
Jacob, if the over, if it's for like 120 for that game, you still got to take the over.
Oh, of course. No defense is going to be played. But I will say though about our defense is that outside of the Army game, I mean, we look good against the run, especially in the second half of games. Because I mean, I'll hold my tongue against Michigan State because their running back Walker, he's a stud. So
yeah.
I feel like at times our defenses look good against the run. Now, I mean, pass. I mean, the only like Fletcher said in our group message, the only thing our pass coverage can cover is the spread. So,
Yeah.
But our run,
definitely.
At times, I think our run defense hasn't looked that bad. It looked pretty good, but we just can't cover anything. But I think UTSA, they're a balanced offense. They run a lot. I think maybe WKU walks away with a win on a defensive run-stopping performance this weekend.
I am confident. I'm confident in our front four and our linebackers. Like you said, our DBs is where my confidence kind of wanes a little bit. Oh, excuse me. But back to it. Marshall lost to East Carolina, App State, and MTSU. They beaten NCCU, North Carolina Central Eagles, and they beat Navy. Yeah, but they're scoring almost Except for one game, they've scored 30 points each game. And the only time they did not score 30 points was against MTSU.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So, anyway, I back up. Yeah, definitely. I think Western definitely has a chance against. Got to get back to my Western page here on ESPN. I think Western definitely has a chance against UTSA. And looking at the conference, Zap may have missed it by 3 games, and I would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is that, 9-3?
Yeah.
If we won out the season, I would be completely happy.
Yeah, that'd be impressive for sure.
That would be awesome.
Yes, and I think we could definitely go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want to throw out there NCAA 14 predicted us at 8-4, 9-3. It's a pretty good prediction, NCAA.
I mean, we could have one game that they drop, from goofy mistakes to whatever.
No defense.
Or,
defense allows 69 points.
Yeah.
Like 600 passing yards in a game.
Or just coaching error, which it's happened. So
yeah.
Indiana.
And I mean, I'm not throwing it out there like I did during Sanford's era, but they're human too. They put their pants on one leg at a time. Some of them.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said some of them. You could have like some managers coming over. Hey, I need you to help me put my pants on.
I know. I'm gonna jump.
And I'll just jump in them. So I guess what we'll talk about last tonight, real quick, is spooky stuff. Since it's Halloween, Jared, you want to lead us off?
Oh man, where do I even start with just generic spooky stuff? It depends. We need to not broaden it. We need to condense which kind of spooky stuff, because I've kept up with so much random stuff that happens. I watch a bunch of weird stuff. Oh, this is appropriate news. So there has been a bunch of these rogue investigators that basically have said that they can identify who the Zodiac killer was, like actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but they said that his name was like Gary Posty, something like that. It's like Poste.
Posty, yeah.
Yeah. And they were talking about how he had a scar like the Zodiac killer did, and he died in 2018, so he's not alive anymore. But just looking at a lot of the things in his life, it lines up. And I think they even used his name to crack some of the ciphers that people hadn't been able to figure out yet either, and it worked perfectly. So that may actually be like the confirmation that he may have been the Zodiac killer, which is insane that it took this long to figure it out. But it's been one of those ongoing murder mysteries that's been talked about, I mean, since it happened forever ago.
I mean, my thing though with the Zodiac killer was always that it was just so random, like his attacks.
Yeah.
And it was almost like strangers on a train.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the perfect way to get away with a crime is strangers on a train. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who the victim was. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, it was just always so random. It was just, I don't know. Anyway,
but I wonder if it was actually him though, because I mean, looking at some of the pictures of him too, I mean, you can tell there's definitely something like kind of off about the guy. That he could.
Yeah, but you could look at any. Jared, you could look at any picture and say that guy does not look right, and it could be like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, come on, dude.
I don't know. I mean, and it showed the comparison of the police sketches and him, and it was pretty close.
I bet I could send you random pictures of older people in history, and you'd be like, "That guy looks weird."
Well, I mean, there's a difference between looking weird and looking like a serial killer. They got that look in their eyes.
I guess I have seen some.
I'm just saying, look it up. Look it up. It's very fascinating.
I will look it up. I will have to.
I tagged one of my favorite YouTubers. And I was like, bro, you gotta make a video on this now, because he talks about like all these crazy murder mysteries and crazy things. Yeah, Nick Crawley, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Super good YouTuber if you like spooky stuff, conspiracies, just like strangeness. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I just wanted to add on to that about the Zodiac killer. The guy it's supposed to be Gary F. Was it Gary Fosty or whatever? I can't.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
But he there's also been a leaked image online where in 2016 he gave a 1 out of 10 star rating to the Ted Bundy tapes, and his only comment on the 1 out of 10 star rating was Ted Bundy's overrated. Anyways, I'd give it less than 1 star if I could. Major flex.
Yeah.
I will say, the other week I was at Barnes and Noble and I did find a book called The Murder Mansion. And it is actually a house on Fairview Avenue / Cemetery Road in Bowling Green that a couple was killed in way back in like the 30s or 40s, I believe. Like it was, and I believe the one guy was a doctor. I've heard the story before. If you're not if you haven't heard it, definitely look up the Murder Mansion in Bowling Green. The house is still there. I used to know the guy that lived there. It's pretty interesting. I don't think he ever mentioned anything about it being haunted, but could be.
Yeah, potential if it looks creepy, especially.
Yes, it's. I haven't been in the house, but I've been to the house. Some creepy things I've kind of looked up here. Haunted restaurants in Bowling Green. Supposedly 440 Main is haunted.
Interesting.
There is a set of books in a closet there. So it reads that the rear wall of that room is shared with the second floor apartment's closet wall. Apparently, the ghost causes trouble when a stack of books in that closet are moved. So maybe something to take a tour and find out.
Maybe.
The T Bayou. I think I'd say it would be Bayou. I don't know.
Me neither.
It's another place that's supposed to be haunted. It sits adjacent to 440 Main. So
it's just that whole area, just Fountain Square in general, basically.
Well, I mean, the buildings there are so old. Like my grandparents always talked about when they went to Bowling Green, that's where they went.
One place that's kind of eerie to me is the old movie theater. It's Fountain Square Church now. They were a church that's there. I think they're still there. It's basically like right on Fountain Square. It used to be the old movie theater, and it's super duper old. And it's just kind of an unsettling feeling in there. It's got like the balcony in it and everything. It's very interesting. But if it was upkept really well, it would look really nice. But sadly, I don't think the city's really like invested much in it and restoring it, which is sad because they could do so much with it if they really tried. But it's whatever.
But ghosts.
I agree. But part of me thinks though, should you update everything? You know, like some of that old stuff, I feel like should be just left.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, just depending if it has any type of historical significance or not, or paranormal significance.
Well, I mean, you don't want to run the ghosts off if they fix the place. Come on.
Yeah, but ghosts will haunt you.
Yeah.
Of course, with Bowling Green, John Carpenter's Halloween movies were basically based on areas around Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
So the asylum is called Smith's Grove.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other little subtle things in the movie that you can find if you watch the movie, and you're from the area. You'll be like, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. The sanatorium is called the Warren County Smiths Grove Sanatorium. Just kind of skimming through here. Of
course, some places in Edmonton County that are weird too. I can attest to that from being a camp counselor there. Like there's stuff in Mammoth Cave, especially.
That's what I was just about to mention. The next thing that they talked about is the Rotunda Room at Mammoth Cave. It's supposed to have something going on. I mean, I think it's just because that room is so big and they turn the lights out on you.
And there's no telling how many people have died in Mammoth Cave either.
Oh, you're not even kidding. You're not even kidding, dude.
I mean, Floyd Collins, he died in one of the caves over there. And he's buried at Mammoth Cave Baptist Church, which is like a super duper old church that's reportedly haunted. I've seen investigations there. I've been there before too, and it's really spooky. His gravestone is there. You can see it.
The creepiest thing I can think of, and this is what always freaks me out, is when you see those YouTube videos of dudes climbing in caves. And I mean the caves that are like the size of like the opening of a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, no.
Like the size of a basketball, and they're like hold on, I have to take a deep breath to go down in here. And I'm like, you're flipping nuts, man.
I've done
You are-
stuff that's almost that stupid. So I don't
No.
know if I've told you this story. I mean, this isn't like a haunting thing, but it was spooky. There's basically, I'm not going to say where in Bowling Green, but there's this cave that's technically not like a upkept cave. It's not. It might be distantly part of Lost River, or it used to be, but it's not like part of it. There's nothing about it that's safe whatsoever. There's one way in, one way out that we know of, and you can go down, basically slide down this giant dirt incline, and then it's like a river. It's sort of like Lost River Cave as far as like it's an underground river system, but it's a lot of space in there too through most of it, and it just went for, it felt like miles. Like me and my friend at the time, like we were walking through it, and a few of other, I think his brother and his girlfriend too. Like all of us were just exploring it. The first time we did it, we were like 3 hours in and 3 hours out. But then a few months later, he said that he found a shortcut. So we did that again and got to the very end of it. And there's a couple spots that I thought I was going to die just for the fact that, one, if you lost your flashlight, you're done. There's
definitely.
there's no way you would see anything. And I don't even think I took my cell phone with me because, I mean, I had a waterproof case, but I just didn't want to risk losing it. And another thing, so we didn't pay attention to the weather at all the second time we went down there. And there's this really pretty bend. It's like almost a 360. Like that's how sharp of a turn it is naturally. And then there's like these cascades. This like beautiful stone formation of cascades. And I was like, oh, it's pretty. And it was just like barely sprinkling over when we went there the first time. And then on the way back, we just hear this really loud like shh sound of like gushing water. And we're like, where's that coming from? And we eventually made it to that spot again, and there was water absolutely freaking pouring everywhere out of that. It looked like a giant waterfall. There's water gushing everywhere, and we're just like, oh my god. Thankfully, it wasn't enough to like knock us down or anything because we were going upstream on the way out. So that made it really difficult. But once that happened, man, we were hightailing it out of there because, I mean, it's all water anyways. And if there's a ton of water gushing in there, the water level will start to rise. And it was already up to like the middle of my chest anyways. So I don't have that much room to give. So, yeah, but we got out. I mean, I had it all on GoPro footage too. So I got to record it. I had a little head mount on. And we got out, and yeah, it was a huge storm that went across, and all that water was gushing in there. But man, I thought I was gonna die there for a minute.
Yeah, nope.
You just perfectly explained why I will never go spelunking.
Yeah, I agree.
Always
completely.
do your research. I mean, you have to do so many preliminary things before you even go very far. Just like documenting certain things and the weather and like marking where water is and stuff. And then we went in November, and the water down there is like 40 something degrees, anyways. But you get adjusted to it after a while. But I mean, going out into the cold after that sucks.
Oh yeah, just keep me away from caves, tight spaces like that where I can get trapped. I mean, you may be small. I'm kind of fat. I'm not trying to go through anything like that, man. No way. Like,
Understandable.
Scares
It was
me.
a smart thing to do.
The ocean and caves. Those are like the only two things on the earth that really like extremely scare me.
How about a cave under the ocean or in the ocean?
Yeah, that's like what I see in my worst nightmares.
No, that's
Yeah.
scary though. Like people that go scuba diving into caves and stuff. If you have one thing that happens wrong with your oxygen, you're immediately done. There's nothing you can do.
And talking about this always makes me think of that mission not too long ago to get those kids out of that cave with the scuba divers. And I'm always thinking about that. I'm like, dude, those people are just a different breed. I couldn't ever do
Yeah,
that.
that's no. Nope. Count me out of that one. Caves don't bother me. Like, the normal cave tour at Mammoth Cave, yeah, sure, whatever.
That's
But
boring.
yeah, but I'm not going
That's like the
in.
most normie, boring, safe thing that you can do, Devin.
Give me the normal.
Dude, I am not going in 40-degree water in a cave up to my chest.
Well, not
and be
even
like,
that. I mean, Lost River is a cool experience.
I've been to Lost River. Lost River's fun. But, like, it's just, it's one of those where you're just like, oh, well, we got to the end, and then it was, the storm water was flooding in, and blah, blah, and you're like, no,
I thought I was gonna die. I was praying the whole time I was down there. God, please don't let me drown in this place.
Yeah, it's like no, that's
And the
okay.
thing was, I mean, us being a bunch of like the kind of people we are, we brought a bunch of pizza in plastic bags and we ate it all as soon as we got to the end of the thing. And we thought we were gonna say like emergency pizza, basically, just to save it in case we really needed it. But we ate it after we had hiked all the way to the end of the cave. So if something would have happened and we got stuck in there and there was no way to get back to the entrance, we wouldn't have even had any food either. So yeah.
There's stories that start out like that, and then like there was a cave in, and then like you had to eat your friend. Yeah, I've heard those stories. So count me out. I will sit
I
at
will
home.
say that was probably the most scared I've ever been in my life, though. I will say that. Like, actually scared.
Can't think of
Even being in a car accident. I mean, it happened so fast that I didn't even have time to react to it. But I mean, I had time to react to that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a little different story.
Yeah,
Because then you just, yeah, I mean, how many Chilean miner stories do you need to hear before you quit going in caves?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, count me out. So Jake, you got any stories for us that are creepy?
Spooky stories. I do have one spooky story, not the one I was talking to you about earlier. That was more me just joking around. But that's more of a spooky story for the WKU basketball team. But we'll keep that away.
Yes.
Your Monte Bearden story will one day be told. Not today. But yeah, no. So we're pretty sure this house that I'm sitting in right now, I mentioned I was house sitting for my dad. We're pretty sure it's haunted, by the way.
Okay.
And us talking about the spooky stories made me remember, like, oh yeah, we think this house is haunted because it's been so long since something's happened that I kind of forgot. I'm like looking around the room right now because I'm like halfway scared that now that I'm saying like, oh, I forgot it's haunted. I'm pretty sure something crazy's about to
They're
happen.
going to remind you now why it's haunted.
Yeah, I was going to say, the ghosts are probably like, oh, you forgot, huh?
Oh yeah, you forgot. Well, it's all started when it was the night when I remember it so clearly because I'm a big gamer and I had the Switch. It was the night when that Pokemon Sword came out, Sword and Shield came out, and my dad lives like right next door to a Walmart, and I was there for the midnight release. I got the game, got it on my Switch, and I stayed up like all night. I will say I was drinking, and I stayed up all night and was like playing it and all this stuff, and I was like, all right, this is awesome. And and when I was finally time to go to bed, I don't know. I was hearing some weird noises. Some weird things were going on. Literally, I was like hearing someone. It sounded like someone because my dad, like his living room. I sleep on his couch. It's like the most comfortable bed in his house. And I go and I'm like going to the kitchen. And it sounds like someone's trying to like get out of his podcast room. He keeps his podcast room door closed. It's right next to the kitchen. It sounds like someone's trying to get out of it. And so I'm like, I'm like, what in the world? And so I go up and I'm about to like open the door, but right before I reach out and right before I like touch the door handle, like all of my hairs just stand on end on my arm, on my neck, everything. And I was terrified. I didn't know what I was terrified of, but I was terrified of touching that door handle. And I swear when I drew my hand back and was like took 2 steps back, the door started like violently shaking. Like violently shaking. Like he had like a do not disturb sign that was like a joke. It was like podcast recording, do not disturb, like on the door handle. And it was like shaking so bad, like the sign like fell off the door handle. I was freaking out because my dad wasn't home at this time. He was at like a motorcycle rally with his buds. And so I straight up I just got all my stuff and I got in my car and I drove home. I was so scared. I was dang near piss my pants scared. And then like my dad confirmed it. He was like, and there's been like times where I've slept over and like when I'm house sitting for him and like I'll hear scratching at the door. Like it sounds like I have a dog that I forgot to let back inside, and the dog's like scratching the door. I'll hear scratching at the front door, and then I'll like get up to like because I'm when I lived in Bowling Green, when I lived at WKU, I lived with a bunch of dogs. I'm used to like and I'll open the front door to get the dog inside, and there won't be anything there. And then I'll just because I'll be like half asleep when I do it because it's usually in the middle of the night, and I'm just like, oh yeah, place is haunted. I forgot. And so like I'll be sitting here and like another time my dad and his girlfriend didn't believe me, but one time my dad and his girlfriend were like here sleeping. This was like 2-3 months ago, and they hadn't believed me about all this haunted house. They were like, "Oh, he's like, you're just drunk or something." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm so completely sober, like hearing these things." And like one day, like he said, like it was like he said his girlfriend woke him up at like 5 a.m. and was like, "Barry, get the gun, get the gun. There's someone here for sure." And his girlfriend and him sat there and were like listening through the door, and they said they could hear like footsteps coming up and down the stairs. Like, so my dad got his gun and threw his door open and ran to the stairs ready to cap somebody. And he said there's nobody there, no one in the house, the doors were locked, everything was completely fine. And he said ever since that moment, he agrees with me 100%. His house is haunted because he said he's never been more sure that there was someone in his house, like in that moment in his life, than that moment right there. And I'm like,
So,
dude, your house is haunted, bro. Like, that's just it, Dad. I'm sorry, but it's haunted. He's like, he's been meaning to dig up like the records to see if anybody's like died in it or anything like crazy has happened in it, but he just hasn't gotten around to it yet.
so you said you were drinking. You weren't drinking like amethyst or anything, were you?
No, it was just like beers. It was just like
Oh,
I mean, a
God.
little Ambien,
There was this like green fairy dude like walking around, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, no,
That's who
that's
told
pretty
me to
cool.
get out of there, actually. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool
Incredible.
story. Um,
Yeah, dude. I swear
if
it's
you,
haunted.
yeah, so anyway, Western's going to be playing. They play at 7:30, I think. I have to double check. They play at 7:30 at home against UTSA. If you can't make it to the game, definitely try to watch the game. I think it's on CBS Sports Network. If you're not able to watch it, maybe you can check it later the next day and watch it on Hilltopper Vault. He's doing pretty good about getting all those games up. So check that out. I don't have anything else tonight, guys, but I hope you all have a nice week. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go
Go
Tops.
Tops.